Hello guys, welcome back to another video of mine. This is your review for West Brom 3, Chelsea 3 in the Premier League yesterday. There's a lot to say about this game, mostly negative. I'm still, even a day later, still very annoyed, frustrated, and just can't wrap my head around that yesterday. Now, if I'd done this video yesterday, directly after the game, even later on in the evening, you would have got a very, very angry, very peed off version of this review. I've calmed down slightly, managed to gather my thoughts and be more articulate in what I was saying, because as I said, if I'd done this yesterday, you would have just got a lot of, shouting, angry, saying things that probably I wouldn't be saying now. So, but still, I'm going to be brutally honest in this review. I'm going to say it how I saw it last night and give my honest kind of indication of what I saw last night. So yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, especially that first half. I mean, I've seen us play badly before, I've seen us get hammered before, I've seen us get beaten comfortably before, but I've never been as shocked by a performance as I was in the first half yesterday. I just couldn't comprehend, and even now I still can't comprehend, how a professional football team playing at the highest level of one of the most competitive leagues in the world can't do basic defending. It's beyond me. I honestly, every single goal that West Brom scored yesterday was our own fault and were stupid mistakes that you're taught not to do when you're playing grassroots football or schoolboy football, underage football. It's the basics. I just don't understand how professional footballers who've been playing at the highest level for many years can still make mistakes like that. First goal, Marcos Alonso. I said this yesterday and I'm sticking by it yesterday. I don't want him to be in contention for a Chelsea game again. It's just that simple. He has nothing going for him. He's not a left back. He can't play there anymore. He has none of the assets that are needed to do well in that position. He can't defend. His defending ability has been suspect for years, and he hasn't gotten it. He's actually gotten worse, and he has no pace. I remember vividly a moment during the game yesterday where he had the ball, West Brom fullback, the right back, had the ball, and he tried to knock it round him, and Alonso had, I'd say, about that much ahead of him, and your man, I can't think of his name, literally walked around him while Alonso's at full speed, and Alonso grabs him back like that, and he gets a yellow card from him. I'm like, what are you doing? Seriously, that just proved to me that he just doesn't have it anymore. He hasn't had it for a while. And anyway, first goal, diagonal ball across the pitch, and the ball is coming directly to Alonso. He has it in his line of sight. He should know what he's going to do with it before it comes to him. But what he should have done, any defender, Marcos Alonso was a left back. His job is to defend, first and foremost, before anything. What he should have done is just powered the header away. Just get it away from the goal, up the pitch. Then you're not under pressure. What does he try and do? He takes the risky option and tries to just cushion a header back to Thiago Silva, who was just next to him. You can do that, but you have to make sure that it goes to Thiago Silva. And he just did a little kind of glancing header at it. Then West Brom picked it up, ball across the pitch. Again, you can look at the goalkeeping again. I think, as Chelsea fans, and I think just in general, the debate is that which goalkeeper should we pick? Who is the better option out of Caballero and Kepa? Let's be honest, both of them are just not good enough. They're just If we ever want to progress as a team, if we want to try and get to the levels of Manchester City and Liverpool, we cannot be playing them in goal. Caballero is good to have as a backup option. Yeah, he can be a second choice goalkeeper. That's great. He can't start, and we all know about Kepa. Kepa just can't cut it. He's just too error prone. Has no confidence. As I said, if we ever want to progress and get better as a team, those two cannot be our starting goalkeepers, and that's the point I'll make in a couple of minutes about Mendy. Second goal, Thiago Silva. It's a shocking error, don't get me wrong. It's ridiculous that it happened, but I'm not going to rip into him too much because it was just a genuine mistake. Those things happen. I like to allude to the point of, Gerrard slipping against us a couple of years ago. It doesn't mean he's not a bad player. He's still a great player. Thiago Silva's still a great player, but those mistakes just happen in football, and it's his first ever Premier League game. I'm not going to rip into him. I'm not excusing the mistake. It was a terrible mistake to make. He took his eye off the ball when he shouldn't. But I'm not going to lay into him, if you get me. Then it was 3-0. Even at 2-0, I was fucking embarrassed. And then 3-0. This goal is what got me more than anything. It's a corner. When you're playing at grassroots level, underage level, you are told from a corner to pick a man and mark him, and you stay tight to that man. Wherever he goes, you go, and you stay tight to him. So if the ball comes in, you have a chance of winning that duel. West Brom had a corner, flicked on by, I can't remember who. And who was at fault again? You guessed it, Marcus Alonso. He was meant to be marking Kyle Bartley at the back post. He's a left back. He's at the back post. That's where Kyle Bartley was. And Alonso, as usual, ball watching, just starts, oh look, I'll run towards the ball, and leave the guy I'm supposed to be marking having the whole freedom of the Hawthorns to just, thank you very much, goal. And that was 3-0, and I felt like turning it off. It was genuinely embarrassing. Like, I know our defending has been suspect for years. Well, sorry, not years. All of last year and so far this season. I was looking at a stat that they showed in the game last year. We've conceded the most goals in the Premier League since the start of last season. For a team, a top team, a successful team, to be conceding more goals than anybody since the start of last season is absolutely embarrassing. We've conceded more than Norwich, and they're not even in the Premier League anymore. Honestly, it baffles. I just don't know how. Do they not work on defending in training? Do they just completely bun off the idea of defending and just go, all right, lads, so we're showing up today at training. Forwards, yeah, we're going to work on your finishing. Midfielders are going to work on your movement and your passing. Defenders, yeah, just go inside and have a quick shower, and then we'll see you tomorrow for the same again. What do they do in defending and training even? Do the defenders just sit there and watch the rest of the team train and then just go out on a Saturday and go, yeah, lads, just, if you can defend, great. If you don't. I don't know. Really, really frustrating. Second half was better. But to be fair, in fairness, it couldn't get any worse. So a lot of people are going to, and my fear is that people are going to read into that second half too much and go, yeah, look at that, we showed great character, and yeah, if we just cut out these mistakes, we'll be good. Okay, but let's be honest, the players didn't have much of a choice in the second half. They had to come out and do that. They had to come out and perform. They had to come out and attack West Brom. And West Brom, naturally from the start of the game, they were going to sit back and absorb pressure because they know they can't take the game to us. That's the case for if West Brom were playing Liverpool or Man City or Arsenal, whoever. They're naturally going to sit back because they know that if they try and attack, they're just going to get done for fun. So we were always going to be, especially in the second half, because they had that lead to hold on to, they were always going to drop back an extra yard or two, and we were always going to have chances, always going to have the ball, so it was just a matter of us taking our chances. We did it, thankfully, in the second half, but I don't want people to read too much into that comeback. Don't get it twisted. We were still shit yesterday, and that comeback only papered over the cracks of the problems that we saw yesterday, underlying problems that are not going to go away unless things get sorted out. I wanted to make a few points about Frank Lampard. Now, before I get into these points, I do just want to say I am not Frank Lampard out. I want Frank Lampard to succeed more than anything at this football club. He was my favourite and still is my favourite player to ever play for the club. What he's done for this club as a player was immense, and no one can top it, or certainly not in the near future. If someone can top what Lampard did at this club, they deserve a statue outside. Frank Lampard has been amazing for this club. He was a legend. He's a legend for the club, and I love him to pieces. But there are times when I really question, his decision making, the way he conducts himself in press conferences. But I'll go into it anyway. But I just want to make the point: I'm not Lampard out. I want him to succeed. I don't want him sacked. So I just wanted to get that out there. But if you ever notice in Frank Lampard's press conferences, he's very diplomatic. He doesn't give much away, and he always takes the kind of safe option whenever kind of journalists in those press conferences ask him a question. He's very safe. He doesn't say much or doesn't allow himself to say much, which, okay, is understandable. But my problem with Frank is when it comes to his team selections and when journalists ask him questions about players' fitnesses or availability in those press conferences. It's just some of the stuff he says. So, before, in the press conference for this game, he mentioned that Mendy wasn't ready to play this game. When I listened to that, I was a bit annoyed, and I'm kind of more annoyed about it now. What I'm going to allude to is when we played Liverpool last weekend, Thiago Alcantara, who they signed from Bayern Munich, signed literally a day before, and he came on at half-time and was probably the best player on the pitch. Edouard Mendy signed 2 days before the game and actually trained before the game and still wasn't involved. Frank Lampard said it was too tight of a turnaround, wasn't match fit. But why did Thiago Alcantara play for Liverpool against us a day later and play really well? And Mendy's a goalkeeper. Mendy is not going to exert as much energy and be as active in the game as Thiago. So why can't Mendy play? And let's be honest, if Mendy had played, I highly doubt he would have done that much. Yeah, West Brom scored 3 yesterday, but they were their only shots on target, and they came from our mistakes. So Mendy wouldn't have had anything to do, really, if he had played. But Frank Lampard goes, no, he's not ready, not playing him. But the one that really gets me, where were Ben Chilwell and Kurt Zouma? Where were they? We heard nothing about a Kurt Zouma injury or anything along those lines, so that baffles me, why he wasn't even in the squad. I wanted him to start. And then Ben Chilwell. Frank Lampard himself literally said after the Barnsley game and in the press conference that he was fit for this game and would start if needs be. And Chilwell had said it himself. So where is he? The fact that he didn't even make the squad, it just... I don't get it. And we saw how poor Alonso was yesterday. So... yeah, it's just... I don't understand it sometimes. And just some of the team selections again. I didn't want to make this point, and it's, as I said, I'm going to keep reassuring that I don't want him sacked. I want him, I back him, I want him to succeed. But there are times when I really, really do think that he looks a bit out of his depth, or we hired him too early, or it was too much sentiment involved in the decision to hire him. This is only his 3rd year as a manager, literally starting his 3rd year as a manager. When we hired him last summer, he had literally a year in management with Derby. Did well, don't get me wrong, but I just think Chelsea is a poison chalice of a job, and there was always this fear that it was too soon, or if things don't work out, he'll get sacked, and a club legend being sacked is just what nobody wants, especially fans. But that was always the worry, and that still will be the worry as long as he's in charge. Last season, Frank Lampard had a bit of a free hit. It was his first season only his 2nd season in management. He had a transfer ban, so we couldn't buy anyone. He lost his best player in Eden Hazard. We were like developing and using all these young players who were championship players, really. So we had a free hit. Whatever happened, happened. As I said, we got top 4. We got to an FA Cup final, which I think was overachieving. If I'm being frankly honest, I thought we'd get maybe top 8 last season. So he did overachieve, which is credit to him. But you have to look at last season. Arsenal were poor. Manchester United were poor. And Leicester, I'd say we got top 4 because Leicester completely bottled it towards the end of last season. We wouldn't have got it if that wasn't the case. Look, I'm not trying to shit on anything. I'm just as I said, I'm just speaking how I'm just going to be realistic. I'm going to be real about it. But this season, Frank Lampard doesn't have that luxury of having a free hit. He's been backed by the board. They've signed players for him. It's his second season now. The pressure's on him. And we knew this at the start of the season. It was always going to be the case. The pressure's on him now. And if we see similar performances and results to what we saw yesterday, I'm worried he mightn't last. I'm genuinely worried that he might get sacked. I don't want him to. But if we keep seeing the same mistakes and keep seeing the same results that we saw yesterday, I worry. I really do worry of how long he could last. Yeah, there's just a lot to take in yesterday. I'm still pissed off with yesterday. Anyone who says that we're going to challenge for the title this season, I think you need a bit of a reevaluation. I think top 4 is our best chance of competing this season, or if we want to, if that's we want, like, top 4 should be minimum for Chelsea every year. But if we're not going to win if Man City have a game in hand on us and they're playing today, they win the game today and the game in hand, they're 5 points clear already. Liverpool win today or Monday even, they're 5 points clear of us already. I know it's only 3 games, but Liverpool and Man City don't drop many points. We already have a mountain to climb, and let's be honest, I've said in previews before this game, people are talking about, I never thought we'd challenge for the title. It's way too soon. The new signings need time to settle in. Some of them are still getting used to it. It's only been 3 games, and as I said, there's some players in there that I don't want playing for the first team anymore. And Frank needs to work on his in-game management, and he needs to be more ruthless, in my opinion. I mentioned it earlier, Frank likes to take the safe option all the time with everything. He needs to be more ruthless. Jurgen Klopp's a ruthless manager. Pep Guardiola's a ruthless manager. And look where it's gotten Man City and Liverpool. They've been the champions for the past 3 seasons. And Champions League winners as well, because they're ruthless. And I think Frank needs to take a leaf from their book if he wants to be successful. I want him to be successful, but things have got to change. That defence needs a serious look at and do over, because if we defend like that was West Brom we were playing against. Imagine if we go up against Man City or Arsenal, even Man United, even anyone, we could get stuffed. We have Tottenham on Tuesday in the League Cup. I honestly don't know what to expect from that game. I don't know what team Frank's going to pick. He seems to just keep chopping and changing every week. He needs to have a set team. He needs to know his first 11. So I don't know what to make of that. We need to win that. We can't keep going on this, losing game or dropping points game after game, because confidence will start dropping, and we can't do that if we want to pick up and get better from the game yesterday. That was a bit of a tough match review to do. I said I wasn't as angry as yesterday, but I still am angry. I'm still frustrated. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that yesterday, but hopefully it's just a blip along the road, and it can't get any worse than that, so we'll just have to move on. And as I said, we've Tottenham on Tuesday in the League Cup, so we'll just try and look forward to that as much as we can. So that's all for this video, guys. It kind of went on a lot longer than I thought, but there was a lot to talk about. So if you did enjoy the video, please drop it a like, subscribe if you're new around here, or enjoy the content, and I'll have the preview for the Spurs game out on I'll get out on Tuesday, a couple of hours before the game, like I did with this game. So I'll see you then, guys, and take care.